Go ahead, fire away.
Outside of his leadership, what has Mike Hilton done for the way you guys have been able to play defensively?
I think it all makes sense to him. What you're asking out of a coverage or a pressure or a different look, and he does a great job pressuring, disguising, understanding how it all fits together. Some people don't really know how to pressure. Some people don't know how to disguise their pressures. Mike does a really good job of that.
Is his impact when you guys were closing, when you guys signed him free?
Yeah, he's been really good to have in all areas, and we're fortunate to have him.
We just talked with Akeem. He couldn't quite remember who he called first. How did you find out about his injury initially?
Akeem Davis Gaither.
No, Hakeem.
Akeem. Oh, I gotcha. How did we find out? It happened on a Friday in the off season. I don't remember if I found out on Saturday or Monday. It was off campus, so I don't remember the specific details of how it all unfolded, but we're glad to have him back.
Did you think this was a problem? Because that's pretty severe. A lot of times that season ended.
Yeah, I mean, the timelines are all different. Trey Waynes did it in August last year, and it put him through the season. This one was in May, so that's an extra really 60 days to be able to get back. And if you kind of look at where we're at, that's kind of about where he got back. So I think that he did a great job attacking the rehab. He came back as healthy and as quick as you could hope to have it. Some obviously would be a little bit longer, but it's worked out, and he's in great physical shape right here, and I think he feels really strong. He's been great in the weight room and all that stuff, and so it's good to go.
Was it what you saw from him last year, or maybe even in the first 2 weeks back this year, that led you to put him in as a starter, or more so just feeling like you needed a change there?
Well, we had high expectations for him going into the injury. I think Frank was really excited about him also from what he'd seen on his college tape when he was in New York evaluating him at Kansas. So he came in with a good feel for Hakeem. And then he played a bunch of different roles for us last year and did well as a rookie. He was able to mentally handle it. Physically played really well at Pittsburgh in his first start last year at left tackle. And so he was just a guy that we were excited to add in the mix and see what role he could play for us. And it just so happened we were at a point where we could take the opportunity to look at him right guard right now. And we're excited to move forward with him.
Before his injury, was he penciled in at right guard potentially?
He was certainly in the mix. There was no real, hey, this is our surefire starter. We were going to let it all mix out. We had a lot of bodies in there, and we were just going to let it play out over the course of OTAs, training camp, and obviously he got removed from that mix when he got hurt.
What are you hoping to see from him moving forward so he can keep that?
Well, just continued improvement. We knew that he has physical traits, and mentally it all makes sense for him. He hadn't practiced very much. He played in the game. He did some really good things, some things we need to improve on. And so in the next game, it's just, okay, you've made maybe a mistake. Let's not repeat mistake. Let's see you just kind of get confidence, is not the right word because he's a confident guy. He prepares himself the right way, but just confidence in, okay, I've gone against some really good D tackles. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm a good player. I belong, and just continue to play with more and more confidence. And that's not to say he hasn't played with confidence. It's just I think the more guys get in the mix and get to play in real games, the better that they're going to get.
Are you going to get Wilcox back today?
No.
What has to happen for him to be able to do
He has to test negative 2 days in a row, or 10 days cleared, no symptoms.
One more thing on Akeem. Some guys can go from guard to tackle in transition.
Yeah.
Some guys can go from tackle to guard. Other guys can't do it either way. What was it about Akeem that you guys felt?
Yeah, I don't know the first sign that gave us. He played left tackle at Kansas. I think when you're around him and you get a chance for how he understands the big picture. Some guys like to live on the edge. Some guys are better inside, and it makes more sense to them, and they play better that way. He's just a guy who you could tell this guy can handle it. If you move him around quite a bit, he can handle it. He's got long arms. He's got good quickness. He's got power. I mean, he's got all the traits you're looking for. He's just a young player that needs a lot of reps, and so we're excited to have him on the team.
What do you thought of Trey Hopkins this season?
Trey gives us what we need inside. He's a lot of the centers in this league. You need a guy that makes the thing go mentally. I know what his quotes were earlier today. I love guys on this team that hold themselves to a higher standard, and really regardless of how they've played early in the season, they know that they have to improve as the season goes. And that's what you expect from a veteran leader like Trey is. And so, again, we always hold our players to a high standard, but it makes you feel good as a coach to hear guys say, I should be playing better. I want more out of myself. And when you got a whole team of those guys, then usually good things are on the horizon, at the tail end of the season.
How much has the,
Go ahead.
how much is the knee? I don't know. How do you deal with that as a coaching staff, knowing that your center's coming off an ACL?
Yeah, there's a management plan that takes place with any player. Different positions handle it differently. I think Trey's really attacked the rehab in a mindful way. That's part of our relationship with the trainers and coaches and Trey, and making sure it's all right, and then making decisions as the season goes. And so now we'll get him in the mix a little bit more during the week, and see how that changes things on Sunday, good or bad, and continue to make the adjustments. We're always going to be flexible. We're always going to do what's best for the player, and those are just decisions we have to make as we go.
How do you see the secondary situation, specifically Zach, the corners, with Trey, with Vernon, and Eli? How are they going to rep the practice?
Well, Eli's the starting corner right now, and those other guys have roles that they start to work their way into. It's Vernon has been here for 1.5 practices basically, even though it's maybe a 12-day stretch. The players were off and not practicing. Trey has now been around a little bit longer, and we've used him in some different roles on defense, and so we just continue to build off that stuff and see where we can help our defense. And it's good to have a bunch of players that have experience in the league. That's only going to continue to serve us well.
With Vernon and Trey, they're both capable of playing out here. You have confidence in them on the outside, right?
Yeah, I think Vernon's got flexibility to do both. He's got experience playing nickel. He's played a lot of ball outside these last 2 years, particularly in Tampa Bay and Houston, and so he's a guy that can kind of have dual purposes there. And then Trey's done a great job playing some different roles for us inside also, but we also know he's got a ton of experience playing outside, played a ton of safety in college. So again, two guys that are really flexible and can play a lot of different roles for you.
Apple's been under a ton of fire externally with source of a lot of criticism from the fan base. Why have you guys decided to keep it that way?
Say one more time.
I guess a lot of people have been questioning whether Eli should be starting. What have you guys seen that you believe that he's the best option right now from outside?
Yeah, I think he does what we ask him to do. I don't know who's got him under fire. We expect our guys to play at a high level, and Eli's got a short memory. If you give up a play that corners are going to give up, he does a great job kind of putting that away and moving on to the next play, and that's critical. It's one of the hardest positions to play in all of football. It's one of my wife's favorite things to say, and it's true. And so I don't envy the position those guys get in, but he does a great job. He plays with a high degree of confidence, and he's done some really good things for us this year. He's still not up this week, so it's still week to week, but you'll see him on the rehab field, as you go out there today. Yeah.
The trickle down effect, your special teams guys have to move up with more snaps, on the defensive side of the football, and you're going to play. So how do you feel about the guys that you brought in to play linebackers?
Yeah, Clay Johnson's got some experience. The guy we claimed playing special teams in Carolina, and he's been in LA. He's picking it up quickly, which is good because we're going to count on him in those areas. Kalitro obviously has been in our system up through last training camp, I guess. So we know what we're getting there. We're excited to add him back to the mix. But you're right; those guys all have to step up and make some plays for us, not only on defense, be ready to go, but on special teams as well. And that's where a Michael Thomas safety comes in and can help fill some of those roles also with that body type and some of the tight ends we have as well. So Darren does a good job of being resourceful, practicing a ton of different guys on the practice squad all season because he's experienced enough to know that at some point you're going to need these guys and they need the reps. And so he's done a nice job kind of planning for worst case scenarios all season so that guys are ready when their number's called.
What are your thoughts on the Raiders' defense and what they do well, specifically with their defensive ends?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for their defensive ends. 91 and 98 are tremendous players. They've got high motors. They finish plays. They give these tackles a hard time. They give the tight ends a tough time in the run game also. They make a lot of plays there. Interior-wise, those guys are big and do a nice job against the run. The backers are fast. They can run. I mean, you look at Perriman and you look at Corey Littleton. Those guys can run and hit and understand the coverage. Perriman's played in it for a long time. Corey Littleton's just a smart football player. He's very experienced. I've been around him for a couple years. The two young safeties can fly around and make plays. They in some ways remind me of our guys. These guys are high picks and they play like high picks. They got a knack for making plays on the ball. They're not afraid to hit you. And the corners have a ton of experience. I mean, the two starting corners right now played against us last year when we played the Chargers. Now they're in the same scheme, same system. So I've got a lot of respect for their defense and what they do, and how they attack the opponents and the stresses they put on you. They've done a really nice job, and our guys got to be ready to come to play on Sunday.
Coach, is that the kind of defense that they're not gonna make a mistake? That they want you to make a mistake? They're not gonna gamble. They're gonna be solid, and they're gonna have you make a mistake.
Yeah, they're not overly complex with the number of coverages they call, but they make their complementary stuff look the same. That makes it hard on defense. So subtly, it all looks the same, but it can be different at times, and it can put you in a tough spot. But their guys just have a ton of confidence in what they're doing and how they're playing it, and it's a defense that they understand their strengths of the defense, and they also understand the weaknesses of the defense and how people like to attack them. And they do a good job, playing for that kind of stuff. And so again, it's just they do a really nice job making it uncomfortable for the offense, and you got to be really disciplined with how you attack them.
Is that what Burrow has to do? Is that Burrow's main charge?
It's really everybody on offense understanding the plan wholeheartedly in all aspects, and not just, hey, you got to understand you're part of the game plan this week. We've probably explained a little bit more to our players this week on the big picture of how you want to go about playing these guys. And again, it's a tough defense, and they're well coached. And I just look at the coaching staff on their side of the ball on defense, and it is a ton of experience, a ton of guys that I haven't worked with necessarily, but I've always had a bunch of respect for. And they're clearly in sync, and they get the most out of their players, and they do a really nice job.
Zach, what are your thoughts on installing something new on offense in the middle of the season as opposed to we're going to install everything in training camp,
Yeah.
and then maybe during the year we'll call upon that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we do that, certainly, because there's things just you need game plan thoughts going into each game. I couldn't tell you the exact percentage as it plays out over the overall course of the game plan, but there are new thoughts that you introduce every week. Every game I've ever been here, we've had new things for our players to learn. And when we show them crystal clear, here's why it's new, here's why it's in, it's going to help us win. And then there's a lot of things that you do that we've been practicing since last May. We may just window dress it, so it may feel a little different to some of our players because they're in a different position running the same concept. But maybe the linemen are hearing the same things. Joe Burrow knows the same read. It's just different people doing different things. So there's kind of two different ways to look at a new play. Is it brand new? We've never done it before, or is it just a wrinkle that maybe feels a little bit new to a couple of the players on the team? But for most of the guys, it's the same concept running over and over.
Does it kind of feel like we're back in the starting season to some degree, like having a reset and kind of clearly on stand? It seems like everybody's kind of even some of the stuff that's on the win at the end of the vibe, some of the stuff in 2020. I feel like y'all kind of in a similar spot as when we were back in August.
Well, I think the way I look at it is through the first half of the season, we've just put ourselves in control in the back half of the season. A lot of people go to the midway point, and now you're really counting on other teams to do work for you, or you're way out, whatever it is. We've just put ourselves in a position where all we have to do is worry about the game in front of us and not pay attention to one other result that happens and go play the Raiders and do as best we can and then move on the next week. And so that's kind of where I look at it as the midway point is put ourselves in a position where we control what we can control, focus on the Raiders, and good things can happen. If you just have a very simplistic, narrow focus from week to week, then we'll be in good shape.
Is this going to be kind of a coaching change for you? This is the first time y'all had kind of any kind of stakes at all going after the vibe. How do you prepare for that at all? Is it
No. Yeah, it's not about the stakes right now. It's we're at the midpoint of the season. There's so much football in front of us. I think that the teams that start to focus on that is where you lose focus and you start to overreact to every single game. And so again, we're just controlling the Raiders, our environment there, our focus for this week, and I expect our players to have a good handle on that.
Is Auden Tate on track to play this week?
Yeah, he is. He's healthy, ready to go.
You ever been to Vegas?
Oh yeah, yeah. I am a craps player. That is it. My wife, she knows we don't go to Vegas together. I just spend 72 hours at the craps table. I don't go to shows. I don't go to dinner. I don't go to the pool. I just like to play craps. Very, very low wages craps, low stakes craps. But about once every 2 or 3 years. I usually self-impose a ban when I lose. I don't lose a lot of money, but when I lose money, I kind of eliminate that from my life. But I like it. But again, that's the message. Vegas is always going to be there. in May, in July, whatever it is, and our focus is a business trip this week, and let's go focus on winning a football game.
So this is the biggest craps game you've ever had, and the one coming
If that's how you want to phrase it, that's the headline. Go for it. Yeah. My parents. That's they're very like me personality-wise and the way they live their life, but they like to play craps. And my 21st birthday, they booked me a flight from Nebraska and taught me how to play. So there it is.
Marcus Bailey back, and how do things look at linebacker after the top two?
Yeah, Marcus won't be here today, but if everything goes as planned, he would be back tomorrow. And so, the guys who have been here through it, Logan, Jermaine, Marcus, and then you add these other guys to the mix as well. And so, again, we expect to have those three guys who have been here through it all to be back and ready to play in the game. And we're getting those other guys up to speed as quickly as possible. Joe Bocce's been a part of this for a couple games now, and Keandre's been here all season. So we feel like there's guys in the mix, and we've added some new faces that can all help us.
Do you anticipate using the two call-up spots in the practice squad this week?
The two COVID call-up spots?
Yeah. Do you anticipate
I only anticipate there being one, and we would use that on a practice squad most likely. Yeah.
Last question. Piqued my curiosity when you said you were aware of Trey's comments. Are you like scouting these press conferences?
Pete does a great job of driving me up and letting me know what's gone on the 20 minutes before I got here. So, yeah. Good job, Pete. All right. Thank you.